What's up, boys? Before we get into it, I just want to show off my new kit. The beta created by BP is looking amazing, and the Renin kit by JP is looking absolutely mint. Now let's jump right into the video. All right, boys, we're here at A1. I know this video is a little late, but you'll understand here in a little while. I promise this is another one of those videos you're gonna think I was making all this stuff up, but A1 was a bit of a disaster, gentlemen. A bit of an absolute disaster, and we're gonna talk about why. All right. So let's just start from the top, okay? We got into qualifying, all right? Or I guess I should say A1 dropped, okay? I jumped on this here beta, was starting to feel pretty good on it, and well, decided to switch to the Yamaha for some reason. I still don't really know why. I was in a call with Rax and Doug, and they were trying to tell me how good, you know, that the old Yamaha was, and well, it is pretty good. I don't really like it, but I switched to the Yamaha for practice and qualifying. I actually did qualifying on the Yami, and going into A1, I'm gonna be honest, I wasn't sure that I would qualify at all, and yeah, I was a little nervous on my just kind of raw pace. So I went into qualifying on the Yamaha, thought it would be better. It was really hard for me to get a good lap going. I don't know. I'm on a loaner PC right now. If you guys don't know, my computer is broken, so I am on a loaner PC, and I will say that it doesn't get nearly as many frames, and I know that people out there are going to be, dog, I play on 25 FPS and I'm good. Well, you know, it's not that I can't go fast on low frames, but I'm definitely not used to it. And in testing like this, it's fine. It gets like a consistent 100, but in a server with 30 people and recording, oh man, it was pretty low. I was having pretty, you know, low frame drops down to 30 or, you know, 40 and stuff. So that made it pretty hard. I still was able to put down a pretty solid lap and get into the night show. I think I qualified 28th, which I think if I was on the beta, I probably would have qualified a bit higher than that. I had gone faster on the beta just before quali, and right after quali, I got on the beta again and did like a, you know, I did a 106.9 right after it. So that was kind of a bummer. But so now we're going into the heat races, okay? I had a pretty terrible gate pick for heat 1 because, well, I was, you know, I qualified 28th. Okay, so I was way out there. So we get into the heat, and let me preface this, I guess, by saying that leading up to the heat, the computer that I'm on, my voice just cracked just because I was homeschooled and I'm still 13. The computer that I'm on started to have some issues, all right? It started to just randomly turn off. It did this a couple times throughout the day, but I kind of just thought it was like random MX bikes crashes. I didn't really think anything of it. Like, it wasn't like the computer was making any noise or anything like that. So anyway, looking back, I see what was happening. But so that we get into the heat race, all right? Heat's going pretty mid, I will say. I was actually in a transfer position for a little bit. I crashed and was still like 10th or 11th, and then, boys, I started hearing some like squeaking, and I started to smell some hot plastic or hot wires. If you guys have ever smelled, you know, electronics when they start to get hot, you guys obviously know that smell. And well, while I was in the heat race, I could hear this like squeaking noise, and in the middle of the heat race, I, you know, popped an earmuff off, and I could hear that it was probably coming from the power supply on the computer, and I could smell it getting really hot. I thought to myself, well, okay, we're just gonna rough it out, all right? We're just gonna try to get into this main event, right? If we can get into the main, then in between the heat and the main, I can swap the power supply, because I actually have a third computer that's basically just parts computer. It's doesn't have a GPU, doesn't have all kinds of stuff, but it does have a power supply. And so I thought, all right, well, I'll just qualify through the heat, and then I'll swap the power supply in between the main, and then we'll be chilling for the main. Well, in the middle of the heat, the sound started getting worse, the smell started getting worse, and then I crashed and I got punted. And because this is like a loaner PC, it's not mine, it's a friend's, I decided, okay, I'm just gonna call it here. There's only like a minute left of the heat. I was like 14th or something. Maybe I could have come back, but I was just really nervous about cooking his computer. So I turned it off and I thought, all right, well, if this is a modular power supply, I should be able to swap it really fast, right? So I pull my other computer out of the closet, pull that power supply out, and then this computer, I go ahead and take the back off, you know, where I expose the power supply, and I come to find out that, well, it's not a modular power supply, which if you don't know what that means, it basically means a lot of the wires coming out of the computer into the back of the power supply, they go directly into the power supply, and so there's no way you can like hot swap it. So unfortunately, I was kind of left with one choice. Either I just call it quits and I rewire the whole computer, or I try to, you know, cool the thing off and see if I can't get in there for the LCQ. So I got a little blower, like a little leaf blower, okay? Basically, I bought this little blower for my 4-year-old son a couple years ago, just so he could, you know, have something to do with me if I was working out in the yard or something. He would feel like he's contributing and having some fun. So I went and got that thing. It's like a little rigid, it's battery powered. It's pretty sick. Highly suggest getting one. Not an ad, but maybe it should be. I don't know. And I got that thing, started cooling everything off, let it sit. Figured, you know what, let's just run it. So I plugged it back in, got ready for the LCQ, basically loaded back into the game right when the servers were going back up. And so loaded back into the game, joined the LCQ, and we decided to run the LCQ. I figured, listen, it's 4 laps, okay? It's a real short one, maybe 5 laps. And what we'll do is we'll get in there and then I'll just completely swap the whole thing between the LCQ and the main event. I knew that 250 mains were going first, so I felt like I had plenty of time. You know, I'd have a full main event to swap the power supply, which I felt like I could do it pretty fast. So that was my plan. All right, we get a kind of a bad start in the LCQ. I was pretty much buried, like 12th or something like that. But, you know, classic LCQ things. Everyone just wadded themselves on the first lap. So I went from outside the top 10 to 4th in probably a lap and a half. And then I'm sitting in P4. I'm actually feeling pretty good. You know, all the pressure of A1 was gone at this point because I'm just in survival mode, right? We're just barely hanging on. And we got like a minute or maybe 2 minutes left of the LCQ, and computer just turns off. And so that was my that was my A1. Well, if you're wondering why I don't have a webcam, I think that died too. I don't know what is happening over here. After, you know, the LCQ, I went upstairs, I had dinner with my family, and then came down and put the new power supply in and got everything going. Everything's good. You know, I had to basically rewire a ton of the computer, but that was fine. No big deal. Got all that rewired, got the PC back on, jumped on the game. I ran an absolute burner. It was like a mid 106. I'm pretty sure it's just like my anger from everything just helped me run an absolute Stanley steamer. Everything was good. I have actually even recorded that day with my webcam. Everything was fine. The next day I wake up and I go to, you know, do my TikToks or whatever I was gonna do, and I'm in the middle of recording and I look over and my webcam is just frozen. And so I'm like, oh, that's weird. That's happened before, you know, in years past. I figured I'd just reset the camera, unplug it, replug it back in, all that jazz, you know? So I do that. Camera works for a little bit, right? Everything's fine. And then it does it again. So I'm, you know, trying to Google things, trying to figure out what it could be. I find something on the Elgato cameras that's like, oh, you need to have this software installed. So I install said software. Everything's up to date on the Elgato camera. And basically it still was doing it. So then I decided, okay, well, maybe it's the cord. I'll just replace the cord. So I replaced the cord, still doing it. And then now it won't even turn back on. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know what's going on. I guess my webcam's cooked now, but maybe we just will not have a webcam for a little while. It's just kind of sad. I really like being, you know, one of the only ones that's you know, larger that has a webcam for the most part. I guess, you know, Lynn's is doing it too now, but yeah, I don't know. I feel like a lot of my personality comes through in the webcam more than it does without, but hey, it is what it is. We're just gonna work with whatever God's throwing at us, and he is throwing a lot at us, I will say that. And yeah, so I don't really know what the heck happened. Oh, the other thing, the reason that this video is coming out so late, right? Like, this all happened on Friday and I'm recording this on Monday. It should be posted on Monday as well, is because yeah, I made an entire video. I made the thumbnail that you saw. I made everything on Saturday, went to post it on Saturday, and apparently I deleted the file on accident somehow. Never ever done that in my 3 years of making YouTube videos. Just deleted it. No way to recover it. It was gone. It was cooked. And so, yeah, I don't know, boys. We apparently weren't supposed to put that video out on Saturday, and we were supposed to put it out today. But I don't know. I guess God's just really teaching me to be more content with where I'm at, and, you know, no matter what he's throwing at me, just to know that it's for my good and that he's got something, you know, yeah, good plan for it, and that, you know, that I shouldn't be bitter. I don't want to be like Jonah, who got all upset about, you know, losing the tree after, you know, the little tree when he was watching over Nineveh, you know, and then God took the tree away, and then he was really bitter. We want to be grateful for the tree. We don't want to be bitter that it's gone. So I am grateful that I had a power supply to replace this computer. I don't really know why we've been having such bad computer problems. I have switched outlets. I've switched power surge protectors to be sure of, like, man, is something going on like that? And I'm still, you know, I've had those issues on different surge protectors and different power outlets. So I have no idea what's going on. Hopefully we get my old PC back soon. But anyway, it was kind of nice to enjoy A1, like the races, and not really have to think about content because I couldn't make any. A1, the races IRL were awesome. It was an incredible race. It was really awesome to see so much chaos, but nobody got hurt, right? I mean, I know Mookie got kind of banged up, but I'm assuming he's not hurt since he raced the main. But it was cool to see, you know, people crashing and all, you know, the races were really, really exciting, but it wasn't like, you know, one of the main guys or even one of the smaller guys got totally, you know, car-wheeled and hurt and broke a bunch of stuff. So I was really fun to watch the races. I was pretty much most impressed with Tomac. He's absolutely just that guy. Anyway, boys, I appreciate you guys watching the face camless, you know, yap session. I hope you guys have a good day, and I love you, and I will see you in the next one. The next one's going to be a good one. It took a little while to make, but it's pretty cool. So enjoy that. Make sure you hit that like, subscribe button if you're interested in future content, brothers. See ya. Peace.